So it's a really big monitor here, but it doesn't work.
So why? It was basically just to keep us calm for a moment.
It was to keep you from jumping off stage and the night jumping stage.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got a couple of questions for these guys, then we're gonna open it up to your questions. And then at the end of these panels, we're gonna bring our panels down over to the side of the stage and give you 10 minutes of kind of more one-on-one time with them before we start the next panel. So that's kind of how the day's gonna work. So let's start. So season 2, what can we expect? I mean, what's going on?
I thought we were just remaking season 1.
Yeah.
That was the. I mean, we're shooting.
We were adapting season 1.
It's a reimagining.
And then when that didn't happen, what happened?
Right. Sorry.
Crazy stuff happened. It gets really dark this year.
Yeah.
Really dark this year.
Yeah, it should be called Welcome to the Dark Side. Being human.
Welcome to the dark side.
Dark side of the being human.
This time it's personal.
Transformers.
Dark of
the being human.
And give us a little more than that. So I mean, that's fantastic. Obviously been very well prepped.
Well, I can say that we kind of all go off on our own independent paths this year, respective paths that are all obviously interlaced with one another. But yeah, they're quite dark. I think we all had a tremendous amount of growth in the first season that was kind of leading up to all of us making decisions about whether to kind of, as the ad clearly stipulates, let the temptation in. And I think that I can speak for my character anyway. It's really a lot of it is about trying to keep others away from the temptation. So it's a lot of clinging on to what I want, which is normalcy. So.
Yeah, I think I'll speak for Sally. Season 2, she's dealing with, I mean, we pick up, what is it, a month after we left off?
Yeah, roughly.
So, for Sally, she's dealing with the consequences of missing her door and what that means to her. She's dealing also with a lot of temptation in regards to her exploring more of the rules of the afterlife and really sort of discovering new things that she can do and coming into new powers, a lot of which are very dangerous and addictive and painful for people around her. And so she's battling with that a lot. And meeting a lot of new characters. I think there's tons of new characters on the show this year. We're very blessed with the new guest cast. Do you want to talk about Meaghan or not? Yeah.
Do we need to?
Talk a little bit about the guest cast. It's a good entree to Aiden's character and
Okay.
We have a new.
Well, so we have Deacon Lockman this year, who's playing Surin, who is a very old vampire. How old is she?
Over 700 years old.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And
that's old. I thought she was like 37.
really old.
Really old.
Old.
Yeah.
And we also have Kyle Schmidt, who plays Henry, who's an awesome addition.
Yeah. Aiden is he's dealing with there's all these really neat identity issues throughout this season, because as we saw last year, we went back to a few time periods with the 50s, with the 70s. Well, we're going way back to the 80s. Aiden was a guitar player, and then the bishop was a singer, and there's this whole thing of but I want to be the singer, and you be the guitar player.
It's a story you've seen 100 times.
We always know between the singer and the guitar player, there's conflict, and it's just baked into that story. No, we go back to the 30s, and we discover a time when the vampires weren't taking these awful day jobs that they didn't want to be taking, and they didn't have to hide as hardcore as they do in modern day. And then we can go back to 1918 and we learn what happened before them. But we discover Aiden perhaps at the height of his influence and power, and he's doing really well. And we learn why they were all scattered and sent into the shadows, and they all hide. And so, as I talk about this identity thing, we really get a strong contrast for who Aiden was, and this ideal Aiden. Everyone's talking about him, and you get to see him, and they talk about how he was the ideal vampire. And then we learn, and then of course we know a lot about how Aiden is trying to be in these last 2 years since, he's known you. Right. And And he just keeps having options removed and avenues of escape, and he's having all these things taken away from him. And once you have all your options taken away, you really do learn who you really are. Not who you want to be, and not who you were, but who you are. And that's one of the scary things that he goes through this season.
Plus, there's sex.
Yeah.
That's frightening, right?
So,
oh yeah.
You guys have a lot of kind of old loves return, and you mentioned the 30s, and talk about that a little bit in terms of some of the things that you guys grapple with in terms of relationships.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Romance with Josh's grandmother.
Yeah, yeah. Aiden has a big time romance with my granny.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, guys. It's epic. But no, I for Josh anyway, he has. I don't know actually how much I'm allowed to reveal. In the notes that we were given, it just says Josh's a romance from his past comes back in an unexpected way. So
that's great.
Do you like that?
I like that.
I even did the air quotes there. But that, you know, one thing I can say is, you know, Nora is still a huge part of Josh's life at the end of season 1. That continues into season 2 and gets very, very complicated when said romance from his past comes back. And it's cool for Josh because, you know, his need and his want in life is the thing that he finds most difficult to achieve. So it's and hurting other people is his biggest fear, and he's a lover, and it's really, really difficult for him, which has been really fun for me to play. So I think you guys are going to enjoy it. It's going to be something that maybe you've experienced yourself in life. So hopefully that'll be the case. Maybe less painful, with less hair and blood.
And the werewolf part.
Yeah, the whole werewolf thing, I don't know if any of you are, but it's unfortunate if you are.
It's kind of don't ask sometimes.
It's not fun. It's painful.
Yeah, Aiden's old love interest is, you know, is this Surin character that we mentioned, played by Deacon Lockman. And it's interesting because, you know, how many of us have been in situations where we had a major longing for someone, and then maybe a year or two down the road, we actually have an opportunity to be with that person, and maybe it isn't everything that you thought it would be, you know? And it's trying to figure out, because Aiden had this old love back in the 30s that he had these feelings for, but he was quite literally a different person back then. So to reconnect with that, what does that mean for him, and where is that going to go, and is it the best thing for him, and you know, what does he think about all this? I mean, does he know that he's perhaps getting himself into trouble, or is this even what he wants anymore? It's very strange, but he gets very caught up in this and all these identity issues that come out of it.
And, well, for Sally, her whole thing is trying to find a purpose. And in her death, I mean, that was her goal in life, is to have an effect on somebody and feel like she's contributing in some way to the world. And that never happened. So in her death, her longings are the same. She wants to feel important and special and unique. And so she falls for someone who's living in life and tries to be with him and will do whatever it takes to be with him, which also falls into the whole dangerous category.
Dangerous.
Addictive.
Yeah, your story's really awesome.
It's amazing.
It's
so original and imaginative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say that I know that Anna and Jeremy going into season 2, one of the big things was Sally as a character is a dangerous character because she's a homebody, and there's a danger of that storyline really becoming stagnant, and they completely went the other way. It just takes off in such an amazing way this year. So
well, it's wonderful because it starts like you think you've seen it before,
right?
And then it goes just spiraled out of control.
Yeah, it's really nicely balanced too and paced. They've really spread it out nicely.
Yeah.
And made the arc really, really even.